All right, good morning, guys. Our toy is called the Bookworm. My name is John Newcomb.
Kyle
This is-
Jones, Jeremy Robson.
I'm John Paget.
all right, so I'm just going to start off with a quick summary, a little bit of what a television commercial might say for the toy. Like I said, the name of our toy is the Bookworm. It, like we've seen, in the current times, most bookstores are becoming obsolete, and not many people are reading books. They're just using the internet for literature information. So our book has become fed up with this and not being paid attention to anymore by any kids or anyone anymore. So it's decided to take matters into its own hands, or rather its own pages, and is going to find someone that can appreciate it and read him for what he is. But because the bookworm doesn't have any legs or other sort of means of transportation, it had to come up with a clever idea. It does this by using its front covers to move in a worm-like motion, which, imagine that, it's called the bookworm. So the bookworm may not have a lot of speed because it's using very complex motion, but it makes up for this with determination and a pretty crazy looking face with the two eyes, and it also has a very wicked looking tail on its back cover. I'm going to hand it off to Kyle now, who's going to talk about, Jeremy's going to talk about
The tie-in.
yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, books are kind of the unsung heroes, it seems, especially in movies. Maybe you've seen in Harry Potter, they've had the monster book, and also the Disney series, Page Master. So, what we're thinking in with this toy is it can be more of a novelty item where it kind of ties in with movies like this, and then it kind of maybe generates some interest into reading. And then we have Kyle talking about marketability.
Yeah, so like I said, or like Jeremy said, this toy would be tied in with a TV series or movie where this book might be a character. So the marketability for this toy would be mostly for fans of that movie, either gender, movie or TV series or comic, anything like that. So this toy would be more of a collector's item, more of like an observational toy, not really much interaction with it in terms of hands-on, but it would be more like a collector's item for people who are fans of this movie, TV series, comic book, what so have you. John will talk about the method of motion for this toy.
So our toy utilizes two sets of wheels that are one directional, which allow the book to move continuously across the table. We can demonstrate that later. Could we go to the next slide? Okay. I'll move it over. We can talk about the front cover here. Each piece resembles the cover of a book, and each one at the top of each piece creates a hinge that we insert a shaft and a motor through the top to allow the motion. I'll carry it over to Kyle to talk more about ratchet.
So like he said, our wheels are one directional, and this is done by using a ratchet system. This book, as you might be able to see, cannot move backwards. This is prevented from motion. The only thing that this book can do is move forwards, and that you can hear from the ratchet system is that preventing backwards motion. So this is our way of making sure that this book can only move forward as this book would want to do, away from the library or bookstore or what have you, where it's not getting used or read. And next, we will talk about the method of this motion.
So this picture here shows the innards of our book. We utilize 4 AA batteries to power an Arduino, which controls the motion of our servo motor, which is in the top binding of the book. With the use of an Arduino, we can change the angle and the speed in which we move across the table. So here's a demonstration of our Pro E model and how it moves across the table. Do you want to get ready to... And then turn.
And now we'll show you what it does in the demonstration.
Just working a minute ago.
Yeah. Our microcontroller might not be powered on.
Oh, there it goes. Heard it.
Sorry about that. The wire got a little dislodged here. see, this book is moving, at a relatively slow pace away from the bookstore. And also with our Arduino, we have it to where the frequency and the angle of motion can be changed. So this book can move faster if possible, and that's entirely programmable by the user with the Arduino microcontroller. So are there any questions?
What's an Arduino microcontroller?
The Arduino microcontroller, I guess John has.
Basically, it's for novice of electronics. We're all mechanical engineers here, so it allows people with not as much knowledge of electronics as some of the professionals to get into microcontrollers and to allow you a large variety of electrical capabilities.
As you can kind of see in this slide,
So you can program that.
Yeah,
It
yeah. It
runs on
uses
computer.
it uses a language similar to C.
This is a USB
So-
port right here.
What do you see with me buying something like this? I know you told a story about it as a device that would be pulled by interest in a TV show or what have you, but then after you run it one time, what do you do?
Yeah, like I said, it'd be more of a collector's item where, people would have, possibly a lot of fans of movies, TV series, diehard fans have a room devoted to, a series or something like that. So you might have, just a shelf where you have display cases with this kind of thing, and every once in a while when, a buddy of yours comes in that's also a fan of this movie, you might be able to show them how it works, and, the book moves exactly how it would in the possible movie, TV series, comic series. So, it's more for the diehard fan of this series, and it's more of like a display case item, being able to be pulled out and operated at one's discretion.
As a novelty toy, I imagine not a lot of people are going to be interested in reprogramming an Arduino. Have you thought about what type of electronics? I know you're mechanical engineers, but have you thought about what type of electronics or cost of those electronics to maybe just have maybe two-position switch or something like that that controls the speed?
Definitely. Our Arduinos are, since they're novel, it's more of a prototype type of microcontroller to buy. You can buy PCBs to program with a smaller microcontroller that would cost would be a fraction of what a Arduino would be. I don't know exact prices, but I know that Arduinos are a lot more expensive than a mass-produced microcontroller.
Do you imagine a family of bookworms?
Definitely.
Yeah,
You could have that.
It'd be
The
very
one-
interesting to see a bunch of them all going down a hallway all at the same time.
And one thing that we kind of discussed early on in the concept generation phase was possibly, a snap-on face, kind of like a Mr. Potato Head in a way, except with the front face of the book. Obviously our toy is a little bit angry. You can see from the eyes that he's not too happy about not being read. So if we had, when he finally gets to his destination, he's trying to kind of persuade somebody to read him, you could snap on the happy face, something like that. Something that would add to the novelty of the item as well.
Very quickly, so you could actually use Arduino to control a number of behaviors and even expression, right?
Yeah, that's very
Absolutely.
possible.
So have you imagined maybe sensors built into it? They respond to each other and to the environment?
Absolutely, that's very capable with
Capable of
with an
doing that?
Arduino.
Yeah, Arduinos can do
So there is a potentiality because you could use the microprocessor to control all of that, communicate Wi-Fi or Bluetooth mechanisms.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm?
Yeah, definitely. Communication between multiple toys.
So there could be a virtual bookworm, and you can have a virtual family that has physical components. I'm
yeah.
trying to open up the possibilities that it really is it's ironic that it is a bookworm, but really it is a statement about where the knowledge world is headed, right? So it's the Kindle world. So
Right.
maybe in fact a Kindle version of bookworm in a virtual sense. You see what? So it could be interesting if you pursue that line of thought.
There are endless
There's
number of possibilities.
potentiality, but we'll see.
All right.
Any more questions?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.